Andrew, obviously, Texas is one of the big three in recruiting with Florida and California. It's always been that way. When you look at metro areas, Atlanta gets a lot of buzz for how amazing the talent has been going to college and then on to the NFL. But you mentioned Houston. And I got to think here in the last 10 to 15 years with that city just exploding, that has been one of the main target areas for A&M being what's it, about 90 minutes away?
Yeah, it's about just about an hour out of College Station, and yeah, that's I think if when you look at where Texas A&M would like to kind of build their home, it's kind of in that Houston area. There's so many good players that have come out of that area the past couple of years, and even looking at the latter part of the 2021 class, obviously they had a ton of momentum in the 2022 class early on from that area, but they also landed LJ Johnson, who was another big time running back in the 2021 class. That was kind of a Texas A&M battle the past couple of weeks, and then Bryce Foster is another one that was a real battle with Oklahoma, but they ended up keeping him home down the stretch as well. And then even looking at the Houston area, guys like Ruben Fothery is another big time land out of that Houston area. So I think, when you talk to a lot of those kids, a lot of them bring up, and Tunmise Adelaide as well. When you talk to a lot of these kids, they mention proximity to home as one of the first things that stands out to them. They can, go home on the weekends if they want to see family. Family can come see them. And so I think Texas A&M kind of has that edge right now when it comes to proximity to home that they can really sell, and it's really working for them, especially in this class, and especially getting guys down for visits when it's not as easy to jump on a flight from Florida to come see a game in College Station rather than make that hour drive over for a game. It helps when it comes to visits as well.
Andrew, that said, before we move on to the 21 class,
yeah.
Kevin Sumlin did well in the recruiting game there at Texas A&M, but Jimbo Fisher has just ratcheted the ranking up, and that's his reputation, and that's what was expected, and that's what he's being paid to do. So he's certainly delivering first in the recruiting rankings, and then this past season on the field. So what is the difference between someone and maybe some previous Aggie coaches and what Jimbo Fisher brings? Have you seen a different approach, a different strategy, or is it just hard work and name brand and a guy who's won a national championship?
So this is my second. I came. This is my second class covering A&M, and I think the biggest thing that stands out about this A&M staff that they have right now is they're pretty relentless in terms of, they stay on guys until, and even if you commit somewhere else, they're going to stay on you until the very end. I mean, Tunmise Adelaide was a guy that was committed to Ohio State, and A&M never really gave up. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at this staff, you just hear about how many guys that they're just staying on and recruiting and kind of right up until signing day, they're still pushing. And the other part about this staff, I think that's been impressive is the way they close out signing days is something that certainly grabs your attention. I mean, just taking the 2021 cycle, for example, they close with, Bryce Foster on the Friday morning. They get Shamar Turner, which is another big time piece out of Dallas a couple days before signing day. Then they get LJ Johnson, then they get Elijah Judy and Jordan Gilbert, who are two out of state kids. And Sonny, that's 5 huge additions late in the class that you've kind of added between the early signing period and National Signing Day. And I think that's the biggest thing is kind of that latter part of the season, you really see the staff kind of turn into high gear.